Are you ready to lime? We're liming with media celebrity Neki Mohan. We're laughing, chatting, smiling, reflecting about everything under the sun. This is real Caribbean style fun. Join me and Neki Mohan for our lime on Carib Nation TV. Hello, my name is Monique Marie McSween and welcome to Liming with Monique. Today, I am happy and excited to welcome a trailblazer whom I deeply admire, my friend, media celebrity Neki Mohan. Now, for the 3 or 4 of you on the planet who don't know Neki Mohan, I'm going to take just a few seconds to read her bio because she is so very well accomplished. Neki Mohan is an award-winning journalist who is the CEO of her own consulting and media company. She anchored a #1 rated morning show at the ABC affiliate in Miami. A compelling storyteller, Neki's reporting has taken her across the globe. She has covered red carpets, world leaders, and some of the biggest news stories at 10 television stations in 5 cities. Now, here is the best part. Neki was born in Brooklyn, New York, but she was raised in Trinidad and Tobago. That makes Neki a Trini. All right, let's
line because we got our drinks.
This is
not spill the drinks, but spill the tea.
This is going to be a sweet lime, a sweet lime. So let's start at the beginning, Neki. We are just so happy that you are here with us liming. And I have to start with that burning question that everybody wants to know, which is what is going on with Neki? You know, we all gasped with shock when we saw the news of your leaving this long-standing career with a top television network.
Hi, everyone. Neki here. We're just going to have to connect on social for the time being because I've left Local 10.
Tell us, Neki, what led you to make that decision and how has that change elevated your life?
You know, it is a reality that people who work in the television business know well. You know, you are either going to become old or irrelevant. And at some point, especially as a woman in this business, there's going to be an end. And they can either leave you or you could leave them. And for me, it was a couple of factors. I mean, I had been in the same position for 16 years. And even though I was very successful, I wanted more. I mean, I wanted to be off weekends for sure, to have a life. And, you know, I had a co-anchor for 10, 11 years that took his own life in 2019 because he was that unhappy. And a big part of his unhappiness was work. Our jobs are really, we sacrifice a lot to make it in the news business. I worked at 10 TV stations in 5 cities. I lived many places throughout my career to be where I was. So at some point in time, I was told, this is as far as you're going to go. Now, they're talking to an immigrant who came to this country in 1988. I was born in Brooklyn, but moved to Trinidad with my grandparents when I was 3, came back at 17 with 2 suitcases. And made a really successful career for herself. So for someone to say to me, this is as far as you're going to go, is like my Trinidad mind kicked in. I was like, yeah, really? But I mean, it was a lot more intentional. I mean, like really and truly, very intentional. I mean, you know me not only from the news industry, but you know me from the Caribbean community. I circulate in a lot of communities, and especially the communities of entrepreneurship. So I knew that the skill set that I had and the connections that I had, that I can turn that into what was next. When I first got into this business, there wasn't social media. There wasn't YouTube. You have your own station. There wasn't Zoom, right? You have your own show. So I figured that if I was able to take 2 suitcases and turn it into a career that I had now, that I wasn't going to sit there and be unhappy. I was morbidly unhappy. People say, oh, you see you on TV and we didn't know you were unhappy. But the truth of the matter is that I'm not going to project that. That's not part of my professional face. And also people watching me could have been at home sick. They don't deserve to get, me vexed in the morning. But at the end of the day, I had a life. And I really wanted to pursue that life. There were a lot of things on my bucket list still to be done. And I'm going for it, because when you see someone next to you, that close to you, become that unhappy enough to take their own life, his kid said to me, if he was so unhappy, why didn't he just leave? And it clicked. If I'm so unhappy, why didn't I just leave? So I made that possible. I've been up to a lot of really exciting stuff, still more to come. Keep up with me on social. I'm living my best life, and your best life is now.
Wow, Neki, that is such a powerful story. And I am so grateful that you are here liming with us to share that story at a time like this. In your Facebook video in August last year, you spoke about the pandemic pivot. And so many of us around the world are rethinking our lives, are taking a new perspective, and are seeing our lives through the lens of enjoyment and happiness. And we look at celebrities like you, we see the glamour, we see the success, we see all the fame, we see the red carpet, but we don't see, as you have just said, what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Share with
us.
Share with us some of that nitty gritty that we don't see. Share with us even, a failure that may have led to your success. Because when we look at success stories like yourself, we always think that you've gone from one success to another. We don't think that there are failures from which you have learned that have contributed to your success. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, I mean, this is a business you can't be afraid to fail in, because it's very subjective, right? Extremely subjective. I mean, my first job out of University of Maryland was at ABC News. And I was constantly passed over for kids that had lineage, people who were related in Washington. If you're related, as you know, if you're related to a politician, if you're related to, they will jump right over you. Well, I remember being at the network and going up for a job, and some famous person's daughter got leapfrogged right over me with no experience and no real credentials. But that's how it went. But then I said, okay, let me move. And I went over to Channel 9 and became a reporter trainee, and then took that and went into my next job. So there are so many, I was in Miami in 1996 to 2000, and I said, oh, let me go out to LA. And I freelanced in LA for 3 years and had amazing opportunities. I even worked on my off jobs like Survivor and different shows to experience what that would be like. But then I got stuck in a freelancing rut, and I couldn't find a full-time job. So then I took a job in Cleveland, Ohio, and I worked in the building I lived in. It was the craziest thing. And I was there, and I got rid of my car and saved up all my money to buy a house, because I knew I was coming back to Miami, because I wanted to come back to Miami. And I came back to Miami. While I lived in Cleveland, there's a 17-year-old that lived above me named LeBron James. So it just, like life, sometimes when one door closes, another one opens. And when you are intentional, and I work really, really, really hard. And all those years, I didn't have any kids. I wasn't married. I didn't do any of that because I was chasing that career. But I always knew that at some point I wanted to have a life. And I came back to Miami. I had a baby. She's 13 years old now, driving me crazy. But at the end of the day, I had to look at my life after my co-anchor died and said, what do I really want my legacy to be? Do I want to sit here and constantly people promoted over me, because it wasn't because I'm old, because, I don't look old. But at the end of the day, I made a lot of money. If they had to promote me, they would have to pay me more. And they wanted to promote cheaper and younger and people they can manipulate. I mean, you know me, girl, I'm a strong, Trini girl. First of all, I always tell people, I can't tell me what to do. So you try to tell me what to do. People have tried and failed, but it just, I take my stuff really seriously, and I've worked so hard and to be good. And then for somebody to look at me and say, well, I'm going to promote this person over you just because, that stuff takes a toll. We talk so much in this country about, institutionalized racism or your classism or misogyny. And that takes a toll on you personally. And that's something that money can't save you from. Because at the end of the day, we have one life and it's going to end. And what were you going to say at the end of it? And my grandmother, I grew up with in Trinidad, had 12 kids, was a seamstress. We didn't have a lot of money and she was happy like Pappy. So I said, you know what would she tell me if she was alive today? She'd be, girl, get your stuff and get out. And I can tell you that telling my truth in that Facebook video has people, so many people could relate to that. I had news anchors reach out to me from all over the world and said, we thank you for saying what all of us have wanted to say. But other women in industries, because this society makes you think that when you're getting older, you're less valuable. And that's not true. You get older and better and smarter. I would not go back to 20. If I had to go back to 20, I would tell that person to have a lot more confidence and to don't overwork and don't be such a people pleaser, because that's what I was. But now, when I'm standing now, I'm giving a lot of, there's so much more that if I wasn't willing to take the jump, I would close the door on, and it's more to come. And I put it out on social as soon as I can, because so many shows and stuff that I'm getting ready for, you have NDAs and you can't publicize it before they publicize it. But I had to do it while I was young. I was like, I still feel young. I'll be 50 in June. And I'm like, you know what? Damn, 50 is the age you really get things going.
That's right. Neki, you look amazing. You're gorgeous. You're smart. You have the experience. There is no stopping to you at all. And here's the big part. You're a Trini. So we know that you have a 100% chance of success. That is your forecast. That's your forecast.
It is. And, I look up to people like Wendy Fitzwilliam. I look up to all these other women in my life that are just, they go for it. And there are people that I surround myself with, the Wayne Fredericks of the world and the Shaka Hislops of the world, and people that are like, girl, you don't need them. I mean, literally, they text me and they go, you're good. We know you're good. You built what you built. You'll continue to build. And I have so many opportunities that I'm pursuing wholeheartedly internationally. So I am really excited. And so I'm blessed and I'm appreciative of the journey I've walked so far, but I'm ready to do more and on my own terms with the confidence that I have.
This is so exciting. And Neki, you have an entire fan base in Trinidad and Tobago. You have Tara Shine, who is the biggest, greatest fan ever, whom we love so dearly.
That's my homegirl.
Yes, I know she would love to be in this line.
Yes, no, Tara needs her own show, and that's actually a goal of mine. It's on the bucket list for mine. I've told her that she has to get her own show, because we were in a drama group together in high school, and she is one of the funniest people I know, and her time is coming. Dionise Fitzwilliam, who produced Wendy's Caribbean Next Top Model show, we always talk about what show would we do for Tara, and the world needs to get her shine, because she will tell you, like, she reached a point in her life that she realized that she just had to stop dealing with shitty people. Yes. Because life was too short. And she'll tell you that. She works intentionally to be a blessing to the people around her and to live your life, because you only have one life.
And she absolutely is a blessing. I love her words. Just read her words in the morning and that sets your entire day in context.
Everybody needs that.
As we're talking about Trinis and we're talking about our Trini culture, Neki, I know that your Caribbeanness, which is characterized by your love of life, the vibrancy of your personality, your open embrace of diversity, of all things, of all people, of all places, your Caribbeanness has contributed to your success. You spoke about work ethic. You spoke about your strength. Tell us about your Caribbeanness and how you take that into your work and just into your approach to life.
It just is one of these things that I tell people, is that, I always grew up seeing successful people around me that looked like me. And I didn't realize how much of an advantage that was until I came to the US, and all of a sudden you had to check a box, you're in a minority. I was like, Minora, what? And, and I wave my Trini flag high, but I also just wave a Caribbean flag high, Monique, because as you know, we are so much more powerful together. Right. And so many people support me, from Jamaica to Haiti to all these different, all the different islands, because, there's so much that is so much common to the Caribbean culture. Number one thing is, when don't give us an opportunity, we're gonna make the most of it.
That's right.
I mean, I remember when I was 17, like going to community college on Long Island and going to backyard parties in Brooklyn on the weekend. There was a woman that used to sell fried chicken sandwiches outside the party. So while I taken my little jump and my little drink, I would go and eat my fried chicken sandwiches. And the journalist in me, always nosy as hell, always a mako, I asked the woman, I was like, why do you sell fried chicken sandwiches here? Like, who are you? I could tell that she had an education from the way she spoke. Sister's hair was laid. So I knew she had a good job Monday through Friday. And she worked on Wall Street. And her daughter went to Columbia University. And she said, this fried chicken sandwich I sell into you outside this backyard is what is helping pay for my daughters at Columbia. And that's Caribbean work ethic. Yeah. That's what we are. We are not ashamed to make sure our children have the opportunities. Come to this country, why not? Make an opportunity for yourself. And even today was such a great day because I work on a scholarship committee, and we gave away so many scholarships. And one of the girls reached out to me on Instagram, and she said she's going to be a doctor. She's from Belglade, which is a really poor rural community. A lot of Haitian migrants work there. Her parents are Haitian. And I don't even think her parents raised her, her grandparents. And she said to me, she says, thank you for the scholarship. I gave her a 4-year tuition scholarship. And she said, thank you. I'm going to be the best doctor. You're going to be so proud of me. And I know she is. Because, I always tell people, if I was able to make what I made with my life out of the little I came with, imagine what the next generation will do. You just got to give them inspiration. And that comes from the humility, because Caribbean people, we definitely don't. And I think that's what really helped me in my career in Miami, is that we're not really one of those people to stand out and say, protest or whatever. We come, we try to fit in, we do our best. We told our kids, go to school and work hard. And we achieved so much in one generation that how can you not be inspired? So all I want to do is just spread that love around, because, if my mother cleaned houses, and she came here and had a very simple life so that I could have this life. And in one generation, I was able to be sitting down interviewing presidents. So why can't kids that grow up here do that? It's mindset.
So
mindset.
True. It's a mindset. And your gift you have an oratory gift. It's the gift of the spoken word. And those words plant seeds into the hearts and minds of people around the world, and in particular for women. So I want to turn now, Neki, to us women. Of course, you're Caribbean, you're a businesswoman, you're a media celebrity, but you're a woman. Essentially, you're a woman. And so, Neki, you spoke about your mom, and you spoke about those women who support you, and you spoke about success. There are things that our mothers taught us about success and about independence. So one of the things they taught us is always walk with your vex money, right? So if somebody gets you mad, or you get angry, or for whatever reason, this thing does not work out, you have your own money to get home. But that was our mother's way of teaching us.
My grandmother didn't play that.
That's right? Always had $20 to take a taxi home and buy dinner on the way home. So that was our mothers and grandmothers' way of teaching us financial independence. Tell us, Neki, how do you define an independent woman? Is it having your own career? Is it financial success? What are some of the things that you teach your beautiful daughter about being an independent woman?
People talk about having it all. Sometimes you can't have it all at the same time. So while you're young, and this is what I do, I have a high school mentoring class. Your job is to figure out what you were put on this earth to do. If you have that luxury, because some people just have to work from the get-go, or they come out of bad situations and they got to figure out how to put food on the table. But if you're fortunate enough to be able to pursue a passion, you do it while you're in school. Now, if you're turned on to that passion, you won't care about all the other distractions that so many people got caught up in. Boys and fashion and who talking about me. And now they have this 24-hour conversation on the phone. Right. Because any successful person blocks all of that out. It comes from, and success comes from inside, right? You want to talk about Malcolm Gladwell and 10,000 times to be perfect, to do something. You talk about when I've been fortunate to interview people like Serena Williams, 10,000 times on that tennis court. They weren't linemen, right? But that was their passion. So pursue your passion, because I knew I had to work and I wanted to work at something that I loved, right? And then I saw the financial situation we were in. So I knew I had to support. So when I walk into a workplace, I'm like, okay, who makes the most money? How do I make that? And some people think that's bold, but guess what? It's always worked out for me. Work hard, right? And I'll tell you this: it's not easy as a successful woman today, because a lot of people are intimidated by that level of drive. And I always tell them, I didn't succeed to make you feel bad about yourself. So you get your stuff together. But I think that, because as a woman, when you have children and a family, you're going to have to make sacrifices, right? Because you want to be the best for your family. As the woman, you lead the family. The man is the head. You want to say that, whatever he wants to believe. But let me tell you something, it's the woman getting all the stuff done. You're taking care of him, you're taking care of your kids, and you want to do that because that's what love is. So you can't have it all at the same time, but you want to be able to have a choice. Nobody goes to school for all these years to say, let me drop my career. I didn't drop my career. I pivoted. I'm still earning. But guess what? I wake up when I feel like it. I work on the days I feel like it. I put my schedule accordingly. You were trying to get me to do this on the weekend. I'm like, girl, I can't do nothing on the weekend. Like, that's dance for my daughter. That's yoga time. But it just, you can't have it all at the same time, but keep arming yourself so that you can have choices. There's a study that goes out, and I tell this to all my high school students that I mentor. If you pursue your passion and your income until you're 26 and you have children after 26, chances are you have a greater chance of holding on to your income. And it's not only to say, oh, I have my money, but look at this pandemic. Some men lost their jobs. Some women, somebody has to be able to float the boat. And what's the point of getting all this education if you're going to be broke? I mean, that's just the reality of it. And don't be fearful. Sometimes, parents have they want you to do this, they want you to do that. And that's what I say. It's like, I have a lot of friends that have careers that they got degrees in and they hate them. You have a job when you're little, when you're younger, to pursue what's in your heart. And if you have the privilege and luxury to do it, do it.
So true, Neki. So true. Now, as a Trini woman, there is this stereotype that Trini women can cook, right? This is a judgment-free zone, so I'll tell you right now, I cannot cook. I do not cook. I must be the only Trini woman on the planet who does not cook. But I'm going to ask you, do you cook?
Yeah, I do cook, but not Trini food. Because when I was growing up, I was always one of the younger ones in the house. They didn't let me anywhere near the kitchen because I was clumsy. And when I started to cook Trini food, even Tara will tell you, I burned my O-level finals. She'll tell you I burned it. She was in the kitchen and had to evacuate with me. So, but no, I mean, I cook simple things. Like, I can cook some Italian stuff. I can cook, but no, not, if I need roti, I go and buy Elsie here in Miami. And I have plenty of family members that can cook, but I was a real bookworm growing up. My head was always in a book. So yeah, no.
So that leads me to my next question, because everybody just wants to know Neki. They want to know some things about you. So tell us, Neki, if you were stuck on an island for a year, right? For a year, who is the one person you'd want to be stuck with? What's the one food that you'd want to be stuck with because you only have one meal? What's the one song you listen to every single day? And what's the one movie you'll watch every day?
Oh, wow. That's a lot. God, the one person, am I going to be bad if I don't say it's my child? Because it wouldn't be her.
Most people don't say it's their kids, by the way.
It would be somebody like Tara. Or the man in my life.
Oh, great.
And the one food every day. I don't have a stove, right? It's just an island.
Yeah.
Um, I love my coffee. It's crazy. I'm a coffee addict. And the one song, one song, it'd probably be like, because it would probably be like a Nora Jones song. I like something very mellow because it can be a soca every day. Like I can just, but, and the one food, I mean, I said I love my coffee, but I don't know what food I can eat every day. Maybe it would be, I don't know, eggs. I don't know. It's a weird. I like
Well,
that.
you
That to
can
me. Oh,
eat
no, you know what it
kale.
is? It'd be ice cream, but we don't have a fridge. Like I wish people ask me, what would be your last meal? My last meal would be ice cream. I don't want a steak. I don't want no roti. I don't want none of that. I just want ice cream. I love ice cream. The one movie I love The Shawshank Redemption. As crazy as it is, like the end of that movie just lifts me up because it's about like man and sacrifice and
It is.
purpose and corruption. And it's just like they get back, there's revenge. But no, that's a hard question, but it just makes you think like, so no, I hope that answered it.
It did. I can tell you I would eat pilau every day. And the one song I would listen to is Farmer Nappy Backyard Jam. Every day I listen to that. Or Marshall, something with Marshall.
Yes, I know. Can I tell you, when I ran the Trinidad Marathon, anytime I'd get tired, I'd put on a Marshall song, like Run. I think it was Run, and I'd be like, okay, running. I'm running. So Marshall Montana, if you see this, just know your song got me through the
Big
Trinidad
truck.
Marathon in
Big truck.
2006.
Exactly. So, Neki, going back to as we're speaking about an island and we're getting ready to wrap up this line, you know, we come from a beautiful region, beautiful people. We have something that we want to share with the world that would just make the world richer and happier and healthier and more prosperous. What do you think that the world can learn from the Caribbean region?
You know, we don't panic, you know, I mean, like a lot of times covering hurricanes, people would say, oh, you go to the islands and nobody's freaking out. It is what it is. You know, we control what we can control, and what we can't control, we don't worry about it. And you know, it's just one of those things that panicking is not going to help you. We celebrate a lot. We celebrate every religious holiday in Trinidad. It is something the rest of the world can learn. Stop judging other people and just enjoy their holiday and their food and get to know them. I think that, you know, sometimes I hear things now about, you know, different groups not getting along in Trinidad, and I'm a mutt like everybody else. I mean, I have, you know, mixed like everybody else, Indian, Cuban, Venezuelan, Black, you know, so it's like, we should learn just to be more accepting of each other. Like when I came to the United States and people were like, oh, we don't like Muslims. I'm like, what? You know, what are you talking about? Like, you know, Eid, I'm down for Eid. What are you talking about? But I just think that they can learn. I mean, when you're on an island and you're all in it together, you're in it together.
So true.
You know, there's no divisiveness. There shouldn't be. And I grew up like that. And I'd like to think that where I came from is still like that. But there's so much Americans can learn, or the rest of the world can learn from the Caribbean, because it is not that serious. It is not that, even with this pandemic, it's sad that we can't go back and forth to Trinidad and all this stuff, but they're like, listen, our hospital system can only handle so much, so we're shutting it down. We're shutting it down. And it's a real sense of community that I think that people can learn from us. Because I never worried about being hungry. I never worried about a lot of things. And I feel blessed because I grew up with a really secure sense of self and what I was about to do and the people that were backing me. And I think that is what continues to fuel me in my journey.
That's such a beautiful thing, Neki. I want to say thank you so much, Neki. I've really enjoyed liming with you, and I know that our audience did too. Thank you so much. Until our next lime on Carib Nation TV.
Well, you're welcome. Have a good night.
Thank you for joining me and my guest, Neki Mohan, for Liming with Monique. Until next time, when we lime on Carib Nation TV.